Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about the first home I ever bought and how I made $100,000 in 3 years. At the time, my goal was not to buy this great property that was going to appreciate like crazy, but reflecting back on it, I think I can really distill down into kind of three things what made this home a great investment for myself and my wife. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, and hopefully you find this helpful and some things to consider when you're looking at purchasing a home that maybe aren't top of mind if you're kind of a younger working professional like I was at the time. So the first thing really is the school district. I didn't think about this at the time and was actually slightly annoyed. The first home I bought, actually, we had Mello-Roos. If you're not familiar with Mello-Roos, it's a tax that you have to pay monthly. It's property tax, but it goes to the local schools. And ours was like $225 a month, and I was like, this is crazy. But really, the Mello-Roos was because we had great brand new schools in our area. There's a new middle school, a new elementary school, and then they opened up a new charter school that was a elementary school as well. So there was 3 great schools within like a half mile of my house. And so a lot of people really wanted to live there, and they wanted their kids to be in that school district. And as I think I was 24 at the time, right? It's 24-year-old. The last thing I'm thinking about is like the schools. I didn't have a kid, wasn't planning to have a kid for a while. I still don't have a kid, so it wasn't anything kind of on top of my mind. But looking back on it, you want to make sure you're in a good school district. You can't change the school district that you're in, and a lot of demand for the housing is going to be driven by that. So I'd say that's really the first thing. The second thing, buy the cheapest house in the nicest area. Find the nicest area and buy the most expensive house you can afford that fits your goals. So I guess what I really mean by that, the area we bought in was this little town called San Elijo Hills in San Marcos, California. And it had one apartment complex in it. So there wasn't, there's not a lot of renters there. There's not a lot of affordable housing in the area. There's one apartment complex. And then on top of that, it was mostly single family homes that were in the kind of $800 to like $1.5 million range. And I bought a 2-bed, 2-bath condo in a gated neighborhood for $345,000. And yeah, that's expensive. 2-bed, 2-bath for $345,000, 1,100 square feet. But it was the kind of entry level home in this entire community. It was like a planned community, very nice. Everything was relatively new. Homes were all built in kind of the mid 2000s, and a lot of families there, great schools, like I was saying. But I bought kind of the cheapest home in the nicest area. So I think that was huge, right? A lot of people want to move there. A lot of people are priced out of these $1 million homes. And if you want to have your kid in the best school district, right, you're going to look for the kind of entry-level home to try to get into. So that was the second thing. Then the third thing is it has to be commutable to high-paying jobs. So we were just outside Carlsbad, California, and Carlsbad really is kind of like a corporate little corporate epicenter. I mean, there's a lot of companies headquartered there, a lot of big campuses there. You have a lot of healthcare, a lot of tech. Viasat had a massive campus there. All the golf companies, so like Cobra Golf or whatever, I think they were headquartered out of there, or Callaway, all sorts of different things like that. Like Spy Optic had a big facility there. So there's a lot of corporate offices. And the reason I say being close to commute, right, like you could find a place that has a great school district, that's a nice neighborhood that you can afford, but if it's 45 minutes away from the high-paying jobs, I mean, you're just never going to see the demand to really increase those house prices. So you kind of need kind of those three things, really, and I think you can find a great home that could actually appreciate pretty well. I'll hop over to the computer now, and I'll show you a little bit on Zillow, kind of the area that we bought in and some of the things, and just so you can kind of see. But yeah, in 3 years, I mean, we paid $345 for this, and 3 years later we sold it for $450,000, which is crazy that in 3 years we made $100,000 off this home. And obviously I think we bought at the right time, but even since then, since we sold, the home has gone up another $50,000 in the last 2.5 years. So it's still an area. If the economy is growing and doing well, right? I think if you're in a neighborhood with these kind of key factors, those homes will continue to appreciate above and beyond kind of the general real estate market. So let's hop over on into Excel real quick, or into web browser, and I'll show you a little bit in Zillow, the neighborhood, and kind of give you an idea of what I was looking at. So,
Hey everyone. So as I was saying, I'm going to just pull up kind of the old neighborhood where I bought. I don't know if I can pull it up this way or not. Um, we'll see if that pulls anything up. So let's zoom out here. So this is really the community. Um, I don't know how to here we go, remove boundary. So you'll see this like San Elijo Road, right? And San Elijo Hills was really kind of like this stuff this stuff, and then kind of coming up here, there's a lot of residential. But you'll see now, right, if we zoom out, right, like these are $1 million homes for sale. Here's one, 2 million, 1.6, and this is what a lot of the homes in the area were. They were very expensive single family homes, and there's one community here, um, right here off Schoolhouse Way. It's like High Bluff community, and it's all townhomes. They're like I little townhomes that range from when I was there, like 300 to um, like 500,000. There's some like 4 bedrooms in here that are pretty nice, but like 2 bed, 2 bath, 1,100 square feet. Same floor plan I had, right? $480,000 sold for 430. And these are kind of like the entry level homes here. And you'll see like across the street here, this is a school, this is another school, and then there's a school actually just up the road that was being built right as I left. So there's a school up here somewhere. You had a lot of shopping and like fun stores. There's like a Starbucks over here, a couple of restaurants. This is a big grocery store. There's a pizza restaurant. So kind of a little kind of like Main Street kind of vibe. Um, but if we kind of zoom out on the map here, you'll see Carlsbad is this area like right over here. This is where I worked at the time. A lot of really good corporate jobs over here, but these homes, Carlsbad is pretty expensive too, and a lot of it can be a little bit older. So it was kind of this really well centrally located spot to, and I guess you're close to the beach, but obviously you're not going to be close to the beach everywhere in the country. But it was really centrally located to jobs, and it had a great school district, like school district lookup. Um, let's see, school district zip. I don't know if this will return how good the schools are, but this was the zip code. Yeah, you'll see like Double Peak was right there. Discovery was the elementary school. These are like rated 8 and 9 out of 10. These are the two schools that were like right by where I lived. So great school district, super commutable. And like I was saying, I mean, it was the cheapest home in the area, which was great because you can't change the neighborhood, right? Like you can change your house. You can buy the cheapest house that's a junker and you can fix it up and make it nice. And if the homes in the neighborhood around you is nice, then that's only going to increase the value. But if you're in a crappy neighborhood in the nicest home, like there's not a big market. People with money don't want to move to a crappy neighborhood. They want to move to a really nice neighborhood. So you got to kind of think about how it's going to drive the demand and all of that. So yeah, I mean, those are just kind of the three kind of quick tips I would say to think about if you're looking at buying a home is keep those things in mind because what you don't want to do, is buy a home in a crappy area um, that's kind of like the nice home in the crappy area with bad school district, and 5 years later your home is basically the same price as it was 5 years ago, and you're like, what the heck's going on? And then, it really does come down to the location of the home, the neighborhoods. So you might, buying in the nicer area, you might get a little bit less home. Obviously, that's a trade-off, but just something to consider. So yeah, I hope you found this helpful or interesting, and hopefully you can take some of the learnings I had when I reflect back on that home and how it did so well, and apply it to your situation. So thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Thanks.